The system that we use internally, we call grow. It's get noticed, build relationship, own the sale, and win fans. All of those components have an internal and an external component. So the internal component on building relationship for us is that 90-day checkup, making sure we're always on the ball. Second part of that, going to every trade organization event we can so that people see us face to face. Now, the way we turn that relationship into a sale, high level helps out a lot with that for all of us and will help our customers as well, because owning the sale has multiple parts.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Spotlight Sessions. I'm your host, JB, and joining me today is Herman Pool, the founder of Vertical Action. Herman and his team for the past 12 years have been helping IT business owners get noticed and make money through better online marketing and processes. Now also, he's helped over those past couple of years here, help agencies get more clients by improving their internal processes. I've invited Herman Pool onto the podcast because he's been a first-time recipient winner of our Diamond Award that was just debuted in our high-level Level Up Summit 2024 in October. And it was the perfect timing because while we were at the conference, we were talking about his systems and his ways of doing things, right? And that's the best part of these conferences. So we decided to put together an episode to help share those details with all of you. So the title of our podcast episode is Master the Grow System. And that's turning leads into loyal fans with high level. We're going to be touching on three important parts of this episode. The first is the G, the getting noticed. The second is the R, the relationship building. And the third is the O and the W, owning the sale and winning them as fans. And in this episode, Herman's going to go a little bit deeper than usual in sharing how he does it, but more importantly, hopefully to inspire you to maybe make a pivot or to get started on systemizing how you take care of the employee training and your customers' learning and implementation in their businesses. Herman, welcome, man. It's great to have you on here with me.
Hey, JB, good to be here, man. So glad you called me up and got me on this thing. So glad to be here. And man, just super excited about that Diamond Award. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. And we had a chance to meet at our advanced mastermind in July. But prior to that, we actually met at the seven-figure agency event last July.
Last year,
we met last year. We were at the same table at Josh Nelson's intensive that he had in Miami. And there's a whole other story around that with you, how I met you, because you never know who is smarter around you and more experienced. And I've learned that in my interactions with you, man. And that's why I'm excited to have you share your story. Share your story, share your strategy, and share your experience in this industry. We got some great stuff here, but I want to throw the mic over to you. For those that haven't had a chance to meet you yet or get to know you, like I've been able to get to know you in the last couple of events, could you share people a little bit about your story, your humble beginnings, and where you're at now in your personal and business journey, a combination of both if you're okay with that?
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I started out, my first business, I started when I was 17 years old. I was going to college. I had a professor come up to me one day. He says, Herman, you know this IT stuff pretty well. Why are you going to college? I said, I want to make a lot of money. I want to grow up and have a good job. And he says, you don't necessarily have to go to college for that. And to be honest with you, he might have said some other things after that. I don't know. At that point, I'm just like, okay, I'm done with college that minute. So I went and I withdrew from college that very minute and went home. And I was very excited because he said, you could run a business. You could run a business. You don't need college. He was just telling me other things people do. And I was just like, oh, that's instructions. I'm out. I went home and I told my mother, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. And she said, that's great when you're done with college. And I said, no, I dropped out of college today. I'm starting a business today. She says, oh, get out of my house. My mom had gone to school to be a teacher for at-risk youth. She wanted to make sure people went to college. And I went against what I was taught. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing. It was a wonderful thing. So I ended up moving out. In the process, became homeless, started going door to door selling memory upgrades, and found out that just wasn't really killing it for me. And a little blue Honda Accord, it's a nice little car. I had that little car, but it's a terrible apartment. Because of that, I started looking into what are other businesses doing. I knew I was more affordable. I was better at my service level. Why wasn't I making as much money as them? And the answer is marketing, right? And that's what we're all here for today. I learned that I needed to market, and I started focusing on that. I read about 20 books on marketing, got confused, distilled it down to 5 really simple principles, applied that to my life, and it's completely changed. Within I'd say 6 months, 18 months, I was mid 6 figures at that point. I've just lived my life ever since then teaching people about marketing because it was such a huge transformation in my life.
And there's a lot of depth in that. And I know everyone, depending on how they're brought up, can resonate with that. Having an understanding of the humble beginnings and what you grew up pretty quickly with my mom just told me to get the heck out now. Now I need to man up quicker than I expected,
Yeah.
right? Could you share a little bit on the evolution? And I know the timeline might go faster, but let's talk about now that you're making some money and now you're understanding these trials and tribulations of running a business. How did you build or how did you go about to start building your brand before building a brand was cool?
Yeah, so that was important. So the first thing I learned is that people buy from those that they know and trust, right? So I needed to before I started marketing, I really needed to figure out that I needed to get past some things that were in my head that were wrong, right? Some misconceptions, some myths about marketing that, just hold us all back. And the first one of those myths was that marketing is bragging, right? And it's not. Like you say, I'm humble. I try to be humble. I don't I always wonder, like, when you say you're humble, are you really humble? It's that kind of thing, right? But the fact is, like you said, we've met several times. You didn't even know I was winning a diamond award
I
because
had
I don't necessarily put that out there all the time. But the bottom line is it's important to share your value to inform others of what it is you do, right? We're told to be a good sport and to not brag and to be humble. But the fact is, when you're a business owner, you've got to talk about yourself or nobody else will. You're going to be the first person to speak about yourself. Otherwise, nobody else is speaking about you. The second thing that I had to get out of my head is that marketing was manipulation. See, marketing is not manipulation. It's about building trust and providing value to others, right? A lot of us will think some people use marketing to manipulate you into buying things that just don't work. We've all run into that. A product that makes a promise it can't keep. Here's the problem with that. You might be able to make a single sale, but every day after that, people are going to go, that person is a scammer. I don't want to do business with them, right? So if you use manipulation in marketing, what you're marketing is that you're a bad person to do business with. Try not to do that, right? Don't think of it that way. Think of it as providing value and building trust. So only make statements that you can actually back up. We provide the fastest internet service. We're always available 24/7, 365 support. Whatever it is you say, do it. The other's marketing is ineffective. And the fact is, when marketing is done right, it generates immeasurable results. Marketing isn't ineffective. Quitting marketing is ineffective. See,
mm,
marketing is a scientific process. So you've got to have a hypothesis, you got to set some variables, set some constants, and then try something. And then if it doesn't work, you try it again. And eventually you're going to make more money than you spent.
I have a feeling I'm gonna have to pull this stuff out of you. And I know that you're built a certain way, like we all are, but you wrote a book
Yeah.
before writing a book was a thing, right? And I say that sarcastically because as people get to know you, they'll know that you've done a lot of these things before it was maybe a best practice or a part of the
Oh, yeah.
psychological approach of you got to do this to get that. And I know we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but you
Yeah.
wrote a book. Could you share a little bit about the book? What inspired you to write it, and where it ended up on the in the ecosystem of marketing?
Sure. So I wrote a book called 1 Hour Marketing. We talked about that earlier. I read a whole bunch of different books, 20 different books. I got analysis paralysis. So I had to break down what the 5 things that were most important about marketing were. And I used that to change my business. And then I wrote the book 1 Hour Marketing, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Simple, Effective Marketing. I wrote the book because I wanted to have an actual book produced by a publisher that would be in libraries that people didn't have a lot of money and wanted to start a business, they could go check it out, right? I could have made a self-published book, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love the self-publishing route, and my next book's self-published. But this had to be in libraries because that's how I was able to learn, right? In 1 Hour Marketing, we talk about busting the marketing misconceptions, which we were just talking a little bit about there. We talk about how to build a marketing plan, how to develop a target market. Now, these are all things I think most people that are watching this have looked at a little bit, but if you haven't, Hey, let me tell you, just go pick up 1 Hour Marketing. It's a quick read. It's a 1 hour read. I'm not telling you to buy a book. I don't care. It's not all the money for the book actually goes to Habitat for Humanity. I wrote the book with the purpose of educating others, period. And what came of that is speaking engagements. We ended up working with I've worked with FedEx, Cinex, Tech Data, Fortune 100 companies calling me in to do things. We've worked with just thousands and thousands of home businesses and taught people. The important thing for us at Vertical Action is that we teach you what the importance of marketing is. Because if our customers don't understand what the importance of marketing is, they're going to devalue us and they're going to get rid of us. It's just another service. They're just a web host. They're just a blog writing company. They're just a SaaS company that has a CRM. No, we have a process. We have reasons for doing this, and we need you to buy into the reasons. As a matter of fact, when we started off, I actually had to de-SEO my site because what I found was the people that heard me speak or read my book stay for years. And the people that don't, they stay pretty long because we do a good job, but they don't stay as long. So we don't want random people to be our customers. We have thousands of customers, and all of them have either heard me speak or read my book or been referred by somebody that read that book. So it was really important that what we do resonates with our customers. We don't only provide really great process. We don't only provide a great service at a good price. We provide the training, the tools, the training, and the team that people need to grow their business.
And with that said, let's get into helping our audience, which ranges from brand new users on high level, brand new users in marketing, to those that have been doing this for some time. They have a good knowledge base of what to do, how to do it. But maybe their weakness is implementation or systems or sales, whatever it is. And then we have our advanced users that are just all around great at the flow, and they listen to this for either inspiration or innovation, right? Some ideas that they can implement in their existing successful businesses. So let's turn some leads into loyal fans with high level together here. Let's get into the first bullet point here, which is to get noticed. And getting noticed, we talked briefly about when we mapped this out, it's talking about the proven tactics to capture attention and generate high quality leads effortlessly. Can you talk a little bit about getting noticed using yourself, the business, and the services and process in the mix?
Okay, great. Get noticed. One of the things that we started saying a long time ago at Vertical Action, it's actually, we actually trademarked the phrase because it became so important internally. Get noticed and make money, right? If you can get noticed, you can make money. And that applies to everyone everywhere. You've seen over the past few years, we've seen influencers be on somebody's kick stream, say one phrase, and all of a sudden they've got a multi-million-dollar podcast, right? We've seen that happen. So get noticed is the first step in what we call our growth system. Getting noticed is before anybody knows about you, you have to be the person talking about you. We talked about marketing not being bragging before. So important to know that, because get noticed is where you're going to find customers who don't yet know who you are or what value you might provide. So this is where we're going out there and we're doing podcasts, we're writing books, we're doing YouTube videos, we're speaking at lunch and learns. Oh my gosh, so much money in speaking at lunch and learns. But we're going out there and letting people know who we are and what it is we do. We're communicating our value outside of our business.
And with that being said, how does an agency get that going if they don't have it going? Let me just unpack that question a bit here. How
Sure.
do you know if you're on the right path with getting noticed?
Okay, real simple. If you're not getting leads, you're not getting noticed. Bottom line. That's how you know. Pretty easy, right? So you're sitting around the office, you're going, I've got all these customers already, but nothing's happening new. No new growth. How do you get on the path? I'll tell you the easiest way I got on the path, and it even works with high level. So it works so well with high level. I grabbed this thing right here. It's called a cell phone. Most of us have them. Doesn't cost us anything extra. And then I go door to companies that I already do business with. And then I nonchalantly say, hey, what's going on? They say, oh, not much. And then maybe I tell them about my new SaaS software I've been using. It's really cool. Oh, check it out. It does a missed call text back, right? That's getting noticed. That's simple, right? That's on the low level. You don't have a dollar. You don't have a dime. You don't have a camera. You don't have time. You need money. That's how you get noticed. You go out and you make yourself noticed. You wouldn't believe, I would say, honestly, three, I'd say 3 out of 5 people I've talked to and shown that to, I've sold the system to. Easy as that. That's step one. Step two, get another way to get noticed. Easy to do. Go down to your local chamber of commerce or other business organization. Ask them if they need any speakers. The answer is yes, 90% of the time. Actually, I've never heard a no, but there has to be some no's out there. You go out there, you do that, speak at an event, you get noticed. And then you get the opportunity to flow into the next step, which is build relationship. But the main thing is you're going to do blog posts, you're going to do YouTube videos, you're going to do podcasts. Make up your own dang podcast and just start interviewing other people, other business owners in your area. Make a local podcast that's just for local business owners and put them over the top. These are all easy ways to get noticed.
So, Bill, so if I'm understanding this correctly, I just want to be the student in this conversation here
Sure.
on behalf of our audience. Is what you're saying, I need to build an audience in my area so that way I can speak and relate to them in order for them to want to even listen to me?
The easy, cheapest way to get noticed is to build an audience in your local area through local interaction in person. That's the easiest, cheapest way to do that.
And these days, with your experience and what you've seen other colleagues of yours in the industry do, how do you sift through the quality of these leads, right? I feel like we live in an age where I call somebody, they don't answer the phone. I text back, they don't answer. Could you share a little bit around, I get noticed, I get inquiries, how much chasing, how much convincing, how much follow-up do you believe should be done in today's age?
I do things a little differently. The majority of the way I got noticed was by going to events and just hanging out. You and I have met each other through events, right? Eventually people figure out who I am and what I'm capable of, and then they ask me to speak or they ask me to teach something. Just maybe to 1 or 2 guys in the group. Just say, "Hey, we want to hang out with you and learn." Right? What happens after that though is that's when you move into that next step of build relationship. That's the secret. So that's really where you're going for. So getting noticed is just letting people know you exist. Now, when they're interested in you, they're going to want to contact you. They're going to want to opt into your emails, watch more of your videos, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. That's building relationship in the modern day, believe it or not. A lot of people will feel like they know me because they see the videos that I do online. And I'm building a relationship through that because I'm interacting with my audience. And as far as follow-up goes, you would be surprised how easy it is or how little follow-up it takes when you're properly building a relationship and staying in touch. But what we try to do, because we know that it takes the way to the subconscious mind, all buying decisions are made in the subconscious mind, and the way to it is repetition. So whether that's repetition through me making a bunch of videos that you see online, whether it's me speaking at the same company's events several times a year, whether it's just me putting out blogs consistently, whatever that is, that's helping to build relationship. And that's what you want to be focused on, right? I'd say in the modern day, just making sure you're heard more than once, over and over. Now, follow up, you absolutely want to use something like High Level, some kind of CRM system, so that you can get in there and you can see, have I touched this person in the last 30, 60, 90 days? Every one of our customers, every 60 days, we call every single one of our existing customers. There are thousands of customers, thousands that we have. We're a pretty decent sized company. We make phone calls every single day just to say, hello, how are you? We do not sell anything. We simply check with the customer. Is there anything we can do to help you? Is everything okay in your area? Seriously caring about your customer is building a relationship. So when you say follow up, I follow up forever. I never stop.
You touched on internal and external. You touched on, at first it was the external, which getting new people. And I like how you mentioned that if they see you around, they get to know you, they'll start inviting you to do things in smaller groups. Maybe they add you into a group chat. Maybe they just let you know what's going on. Hey, come to lunch with us, or hey, we're going to meet up. You start to make these business owner friends.
Yeah.
And now that's when you know you're doing the right thing with getting noticed, if I'm understanding that correctly. With the internal, though, I'm glad you mentioned that because there's so many ways to communicate, but again, keeping it to the core of the voice is the human element. And you have to, if you could do it with thousands of customers, somebody could do it with 100 or 200 customers. It's planning it out. So not randomly doing this, it's having a system in place to do it. So thank you for sharing that perspective. And this might be something that someone's doing now. but this may be something that someone may be overlooking. So again, our audience varies. If this is resonating with you, comment below. Let me know, is this something you're doing already, or is this something that you're going to have to start doing more often as you're growing within your platform, your community, and with what you're learning every day? So let's now jump into the second talking point here, which is the relationship building. And I appreciate you moving this along, because here's where I'll share with you. As a student of the game, used to focus just on getting noticed. I would almost overdo it at times, where it's just like you said, you have paralysis by analysis. You're just like staring at this. You're trying to figure it out. You're overthinking it. The amount of time we spent on that feels like that's the amount of time you need to stay on it and move on, because the
Mhm.
relationship building is like the main part of this.
Yeah.
Could you touch on what does it take today with the intelligence that people have, what they're exposed to, the options they have? What does it take to have a strategic process to build trust?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so important. So when we talk about building a relationship with people, that's the stage where they've seen you somewhere, they've heard about you from a friend, something like that. Somebody goes, "Hey, I heard you." In my case, somebody goes, "Hey, I heard you wrote a book." I'm like, "Yeah, we wrote a book." And when they say, "I would like to know more about that book." And maybe I carry a copy on me, maybe they bought it. But the bottom line is, in the book, we drive people to our site, right? In the site, we ask people to opt into more of our communication. So people know who you are now. They want to learn more about you. So they're going to start looking for you online. They're going to start finding your YouTubes, your Instas, your TikToks, whatever it is you have set up. And they're going to just enjoy more of your content, right? We know, again, repetition's the way to the subconscious mind. So the more that somebody sees you, hears you, the more different channels they're on with you, just the more they feel they're building that relationship with you, because you're hopefully whatever you're doing in our process, we make sure that we're communicating not only our values, but something of value to someone else, like teaching them how to get past where they're stuck. Like maybe somebody, we'll give you great examples for vertical action. We create websites for them. That's a place where a lot of people are stuck. They just don't even have a decent website. And then we say, hey, you got to have some online content. So we write blog posts for them 6 times a week. And then we need to make sure that they're in front of their customer, or that they're getting noticed. So we make sure to turn those blog posts into social media posts. And then to stay in touch with their customers internally, we take those blog posts, we turn them into an email newsletter so that we're constantly top of mind awareness. Building relationships really about top of mind awareness. The
I
big
agree.
problem with most people is they're not communicating past getting noticed.
And that's where I was saying before, you're focused on just the being making noise. And what you just shared right now, for this is for people that aren't your customer yet.
Yeah,
Could you touch on how you do this with your existing customers,
excellent.
with building that relationship with, like you said, you give them a call at least once a month, check up on them and make sure all is well. What do you do to turn those clients into promoters?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So the system that we use internally, we call GROW. It's get noticed, build relationship, own the sale, and win fans. All of those components have an internal and an external component. So the internal component on building relationship for us is that 90-day checkup, making sure we're always on the ball. Second part of that, going to every trade organization event we can so that people see us face to face. Now, the way we turn that relationship into a sale, high level helps out a lot with that for all of us, and will help our customers as well, because owning the sale has multiple parts. I hope that's okay if I transition into this. Owning the sale works like this. You can easily sell something to anybody, right? I can tell you, if you give me $100, you will get $1 million in a week, and I'll sell a lot of that product, but I can't deliver on it, right? Owning the sale is not just making a sale, it's everything you do to keep that customer, to keep your promise to that customer that you've made and get noticed and build relationships, right? So you want, at this stage, you want to make sure that you are under promising and over delivering on every single thing you do. At Vertical Action, we also do ads, removes, changes to their website, right? And we tell them it'll take 24 hours for us to get that done. Our mean time to resolution is 2.7 hours for thousands of tickets a week now. So we are under promising by saying 24 hours and over delivering. We never end up disappointing our customers that way. Almost never. You can't win everybody, but that's owning the sale. That's making, and if something goes wrong, I make sure I take care of it. One of the worst things we ever hear in our lives is refund. We go, oh, no, not refund. Me? Here you go. Here's your money. Have a good day. I hope everything was well. I hope in the future you can come back and perhaps we rectify whatever it is that upset you. And if you find that, great. And you'd be surprised. 60% of our people come back to us within 8 months is what I think the latest metric was that I saw. It's great. It's great because owning the sale means that we're making people understand we're there for them. And it makes sure that people love us, so they tell others about us. And that smooths right into win fans, right? When we win fans, that means that people are so excited about us, they're talking about us. And this is the place where we all slip up, I think. We don't do enough to get testimonials. We don't directly ask for referrals. If we'll do those things, it will make such a huge difference in your business. You wouldn't believe it. And once we've won fans, they're going to tell other people about us. And guess what? We get noticed. So we draw this like an infinity symbol because it goes on forever. And it works internally and externally within your organization at every step. We taught this to our internal employees, and they understand. Now, if a customer calls up and they say, hey, Carlos is one of our account reps. They say, hey, Carlos, I'm using your stuff, but I'm not getting anywhere. And we go, okay, are you using the social media component of our system, which we use high level to do all of our social media postings automatically? Hey, are you using that solution? No, I'm not. Then how are you getting noticed? Are you doing any SEO? No. How are you getting noticed? Are you doing ads? No. How are you getting noticed? And a lot of people say, I'm getting noticed, but my customers are leaving in droves. I said, did you own the sale? The nice thing about it is it allows us to look at our company holistically and see if you lose any one of these pieces, you're losing business. And when I taught my team this system internally, they all own what they're doing now because they understand how to help people grow. And they feel like they understand, because before they were selling products and they just didn't feel like they understood how to help. Now they do. It also reduced the number of tickets coming up to me, which was amazing and good.
You had shared within your talk track here, just right, speaking about your business, you speak about it confident and you use data points.
Mhm.
Like you said, 2.7 hours is what our average time is to respond to a website update ticket. A handful of our customers leave. I believe you said 60% leave and they come back
60% are
within
back in 8 months.
in 8 months, right? You share a little bit about, because early on you shared, and I alluded to that you're a systems guy, you're a process.
Yeah.
You meticulously put things in place, and you shared offline that you've owned 12 different businesses, and you have
Mhm.
more than one business that you manage
Oh, yeah.
without being in it. You're an absentee owner in other businesses. Can you share a little bit about how you go about to get these facts? Get your net promote. Do you have a net promoter score system? How do you go about surveys? How do you go about communicating with customers to earn their endorsement, to earn their winning mindset about you without them feeling obligated or put on the spot?
So we run several different companies, right? Like you say. And by teaching the growth system to our employees internally and involving it myself, it's made a huge difference. Specifically, what would you like to know more about within that?
For our audience that's tuning in here, and to our audience, if you have a net promoter score process in place where
NPS.
you're in, right where you're asking feedback from your customers, please let me know below. If you're asking, if you're having a survey sent out, if you have these checks and balances in place on how, whether it's them directly talking about the experience they have with you or your team, let me know below. My question to you, Herman, is could you share a little bit about that process? What do you have in place
Okay. Okay. So I see what
so
you're saying.
we could get some of
So
your
here's the deal.
inspiration?
Across all of my companies, we actually don't use NPS. I know it's an industry standard. I know people love it. You'd be surprised. We're not traction guys. We're not NPS guys. What we do is really simple. I prefer doing everything as simple as possible. And this is what we do. We call our customer and we say, are you happy with our service? And they say yes, or they say no. And if they say no, we say, what is going on that we can fix for you? How can we help you? Where are we lacking? And what would you like to see us do? On top of that, vertical action, we're very proactive. We go out and we say, guys, what services would you like to see? What is it that you would like done for you? And we find out from them and they tell us the products they want. Then I don't have to sell them to them. I've created the product they want. They just buy it, right? All we have to do worry about then is get noticed on the new product because we've already built the relationship. We've already won the fans. They already know we're going to own the sale. All I have to do is get noticed for that product. So internally, our primary thing at Vertical Action is calling everybody and asking them, and then following up on we watch our ticket board all day long manually. And then our managers for the different groups, which in this case would be accounts management and web development and the graphic design. That's a web development team too. But they note any ticket that took longer than our average and they contact that person to make sure everything's cool. So we're really proactive. I think NPS is very reactive. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just, I don't like, again, you say it, I'm not in my business. I haven't been in my business in 7 years. I look at things, I probably spend an hour to 3 hours on a day looking at things and answering questions. And if anything bubbles up to the top, I call the customer myself, which is wild because sometimes I've called people up and they go, hey, you're the owner. I'm like, yes. Why are you calling me? I just wanted to make sure everything was cool. Yeah, I was upset about XYZ, but then your team explained it to me and I totally understood. I said, listen, if there's anything I can do for you in the future, here's my cell phone number. Call me. And nobody abuses it. Not a single person has abused it. And, but giving them that much access, and that's as part of our policy, that much access and making sure that they are always touched. Anytime we fail in that, we lose a customer. That's what I know. So we're just really proactive about it. When people come to our arcade, Rocket City Arcade, when they come to our arcade, we ask them for reviews. We have 400 or 500 reviews and we ask them. We're proactive in asking. I wish we could be a little more proactive. I wish we had more of our customer data. We make sure we collect customer data as much as we can when they come in so that we can email them. Our drip account costs us thousands of dollars a month because we've got so many stupid accounts in it. But the point is, now that we've got high level, I don't have to worry about that. We're migrating everything over into high level and we can just keep collecting data. But yeah, the point is, I don't necessarily it's great to have NPS because NPS gives you a framework. But I've been doing this for 30 years and my framework has always been talk to people, ask them.
The thing for me as part of the audience here is don't overthink it by the product
Yep.
or the process. Think about the end result. So the end result, what I'm getting from you is I just want to make sure my customers are happy. And if they're not happy, how can I make them happy? And then however you decide to delegate, automate, or make it a process is where you could plug in, like to your point, I'll plug in high level, or I'll plug in a human element, or I'll plug in myself as the owner and call.
Absolutely.
You then determine.
And I'm never too big for that. I'm never too big for that. That is my thing. I had a friend of mine in his early stages of his company. I helped him grow. That company became, I believe, $1 billion valuation company. I know how he got out. It sounded like $1 billion valuation. The point is, this man still went to every single trading industry show, sat down with people, called the owners of the businesses that he was doing business with, and just checked on them. And that's something that he and I talked about that always worked for me, and it worked for him as well. I think it's smart to do. No, I don't want to be the guy working 9 to 5. I don't want to work tickets, but I'll tell you, twice a year, we give the accounts team time off. We just did this recently. We try to do it twice a year where we give the accounts team time off. And then I handle the tickets, me and Taylor. That's our COO. So Taylor, and we sit and we do trouble tickets all week long. So this year we actually did it where we let everybody off. We let everybody on our team off. So there wasn't a single account rep that wasn't me or Taylor, and we handled every single account rep ticket. Now, that's not our web development ticket. We kept those. There's 20 of those guys. We weren't going to do those, but we made sure. And what we found was there were places where my process was failing our accounts team. So what we did, one of the places that it was hurting people is we used 3 different tools. We wrote our own before we had High Level, we wrote our own outbound calling tool that kept track of all of our outbound calls. And we wrote our own website tracker, so that, like a Domino's pizza tracker, so we can see where, when we're onboarding people, what our onboarding looks like, so that I can look at the end of the day and go, okay, we've got 75 accounts coming in this month. 33 of them are active, 20 are sitting in this stage, and the rest are sitting in this stage. That allows us to make sure we onboard people quickly. Typically, people onboard in 24 hours to 48 hours. Some people drag their feet. It's okay. That's their process, and we respect it. The point is, we've taken all of those tools now, and we've made them iframes inside High Level. So now my team doesn't have to visit 3 or 4 different places. They can do all their we're probably going to take our data that we've invested tens of thousands of dollars in building and build it in High Level completely. Like, just replace it with High Level. We think we can do that. That's one of the projects that we're working on right now. So that way, we've already written it in a way that integrates the notes. We do really advanced. If you're a Diamond Award winner, the way you get that is to have at least over 1,000 accounts, right? And we have a whole bunch more accounts to bring in. So we had to learn how to program for High Level, how to make custom solutions. But by doing that, it allowed us to build these other solutions internally we never expected to build. And it's been wonderful that my staff can now just look in one system. They've got one place to go. They don't have to go to different places. Yeah, technically they are, but it feels like one place, right? And it makes you feel better about it. And all of our notes and everything else we take in those applications now integrate into High Level, and they alert this. Now we can use workflows and everything else to alert me or Taylor if anything gets out of hand.
I appreciate you going in depth with your expertise and really just unpacking a lot of this, Herman. And I think it's important because everyone's at a different stage in their business journey. And that being said, I want to just pivot here a bit, and I want to bring a spotlight to those that are just getting started. They're either just getting started with High Level, they're planning on getting started with High Level. So my question to you, with your experience, what steps would you recommend for someone that's just getting started in High Level, in the marketing space, in the growth system?
Okay. Yeah, love it. So if I go back to 17-year-old me, homeless, sleeping in the back of a car, showering on the beach because it's the only place I can get it done, what would I do? That's what I've got to think. And I actually go through this a lot in my head. And here's exactly what I do with High Level. First thing I do is I pick 2, perhaps 3 features that I think could help a business owner. You know what? Scratch that. Let's make it even easier. Pick 1. Let's say social media posting. Matter of fact, John, you've just inspired me. I'm going to do something. So this is what I recommend you do. Pick 1. Let's say it's social media posting. Learn that feature really well. Then use custom CSS to turn off everything but social media posting. Now, go to business owners that you know and say, listen, I'm going to help you with your social media posting. $97 a month. We're going to do, let's say, 2 posts a week for every month, and we'll make sure it's done. Or may say 5. Who cares? It doesn't matter, because you're going to use AI, because High Level has the AI tools in that. You're going to use AI to give you ideas for your posts. You're going to take those posts, edit them up, make them human, and go ahead and schedule the next 3 months. And as you're talking to this customer, and then watch them and watch the likes and reacts and start changing them. And as you have them in there, then you can say, hey, you're in the system. We've got this Facebook ads component. Listen, for another $100 a month, I could easily manage your Facebook ads, and then start doing that. And then slowly add in features to your existing customers while going out and selling the single feature version of High Level that you've come up with. So the single social version. So you're still selling that. Don't change it. That's all we care about externally. Internally, we're going to convert them into higher dollar customers. That's what I would do, because you got 30 days free High Level through someone's affiliate code. In 30 days, you can easily go and visit 10 people a week. That's 2 people a day. If you don't have time to do 2 people a day, you don't care about your business. You don't care about getting out of the situation you're in, right? That's it. Go visit 2 people a day. Try to get at least 4 sales. That's $400 a month. That's not a ton of money, but you've started. And then after 3 weeks, convert them into that bigger one. But you're going to continue doing that. If you can't close it, that's the lowest closing ratio you could possibly do, right? Within 3 months, let's say you're still doing the same closing ratio. You've got 12 customers now, right? You got 12 customers. half of them are paying $200, the rest are paying $100 a month. You're making pretty decent money on the side. And now if you really want to go, start running ads, start doing everything else, take that money, double it into Facebook ads, what have you. But I would just start by making it the simplest system I could make it and focusing only on that and nothing else. Don't worry about what the rest of the world is doing. You do you. Pick your one feature, stick with it.
And with that advice is taken to heart, it's taken to the street, it's taken to build relationships, and they got sales coming in.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, what do you see as the biggest bottleneck, biggest challenge that new entrepreneurs in the high level community, in the software community, just in business, are facing when trying to build their fulfillment part of it, right? They took the money, now they got to give the result to keep the customers and to keep their reputation well.
Yeah, so grow, get noticed. They did that, build relationship, enough of a relationship to make a sale. How do they own the sale? Real simple. First of all, if you take my advice, you only have one feature to worry about. And by now, you figured out how to use that one feature. You can either fulfill it yourself, or you can document it by using something like Loom, turn it into a transcript using AI, turn that transcript, get some screenshots, and make it a step-by-step process, and then give it to any VA you can think of, or bring a buddy in and have your buddy help you on the weekends, pay them a couple bucks out of your money, right? Bottom line is fulfillment's easy if you simplify first. And then you add your second feature and you do the exact same thing. Document it all. See, I've taken away the fear of what am I going to say? What is the benefit of it by only going down to one feature? It's really easy to figure out what the features and benefits are, right? You know what the benefit is, you know who it helps, you know how it helps them, and then you know how to fulfill it, right? And then whatever you do, if you tell them you're going to do 2 posts a week, do 4, do 3, do more. Under promise, over deliver. They'll be happy with you. They will tell their friends, and you will get noticed again and make more money. Fulfillment's not hard when you simplify and build process around it.
And I appreciate sharing your expertise and your opinion on it and your strategy on this. My last question is looking at the future of where we're at in the sales and marketing, working with small to medium-sized businesses, working with other agencies, other marketers. Mm-hmm. How do you think AI will evolve into our industry, our marketing industry, our sales industry? What is your opinion of implementing AI, and are you using it now in any parts of your business?
Interestingly enough, John, I don't know if you know this about me or if I've ever told you, but I own a company called wordfaucet.ai. We wrote our own text completion AI 4 years ago before OpenAI's APIs were available to people. And we built that so that we could use it internally, but we also started selling it externally. I believe that AI is a super important tool, right? And it brings me back to the old American folk tale about John Henry, the man that thought he could beat the machine by hammering through a mountain, right? They were clearing mountains to build railroads, and a salesman comes up, a bunch of workers, and says, "Hey, boss man, if you buy my steam-driven piston pummeler, we're going to go right through this mountain super easy." And the men said, "No, man, we can't be getting rid of our jobs. You can't be bringing that thing in here. We can beat it." And John Henry says, "I'll beat it." And he goes and he hammers through. He races the machine and he wins. Then he has a heart attack and dies. You can beat the machine, but only for a time. Don't look at AI as competition. Look at it as a tool you're going to use to improve your performance. There's only going to be 2 types of people. There's going to be very soon in the workforce. There's going to be people that use AI to make their job easier and make the quality of their output better. And there's going to be the unemployed. Those are the 2 types of people you're going to see. So embrace AI. It's very helpful. We use AI to answer our phones at Rocket City Arcade. It tells people our times. It books birthday parties. It does all sorts of things. I was having trouble getting some young people that were working for me answering the phone. They were scared to. Okay, fine. AI, right? They could use it as a tool. Well, they actually do now. They use it as a tool internally to see when the parties are coming up and everything else. But the point is 2 types of people: those that use AI to improve their business, and those that are unemployed. That's what we see.
Man, Herman, we could go on and on and on. And it's been fun. It's been fun rocking with you. I forgot we were recording here. I forgot
Yeah.
we were recording. That's the best part, right? That's how you know you had a good time with somebody. And to the audience that's tuning in right now, if you feel the same way, please let me know in the comments below. Let Mr. Herman Pool here know as well. Look, this has been incredibly insightful, and I appreciate you unpacking my questions and really going in depth with your experience, your opinion, and what you do that's working for you now. And to our audience, I hope y'all took a lot of notes. I hope you have a lot of takeaways from this advice and from hearing it firsthand from somebody who just won the debut of our award, which is the Diamond Award, where you have to have a minimum of 1,000 actively paying sub accounts. And through our audit process, this has to be this, like, at 1,000 accounts, you have to have a process in place to manage everything. Or it's like having a Jenga game going and just knocking it down every time you put one up. I appreciate you really going in depth on this. And before we wrap up here, is there one final piece of advice that you like to leave with our listeners?
I'll tell you what I'm struggling with right now. I'll be very open with you. Folks, and I've gone through this many times. So I've had many different companies. I've been in business for 30 years. I've had hundreds of employees. I've helped build billion-dollar businesses with other people. Here's the deal. Don't be afraid to try something new, and don't overcomplicate things thinking they have to be perfect. As long as you're a person of integrity and you're willing to make it right, it's okay to make a mistake. Don't be afraid of those mistakes. Just go out and make them, make it right, and you'll do fine. You'll still win fans that way.
Look, if you're listening right now, you're watching the replay on this, if you're ready to dive deeper into Herman's expertise and advice that he's shared with us and the action items, comment below. Let me know what your takeaway is. Let me know where you're going to start, maybe where you're going to improve. And make sure you check out the resources in the comments. There'll be some information that Herman will be sharing with all of you in our show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're brand new here. Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you really enjoyed, and share this episode with anyone who you believe could benefit. We've included below a 30-day trial to High Level, so that way you're able to see and experience what we have to offer and why we're lucky to have customers like Mr. Herman Pool and Vertical Action, a client of ours. So if you've enjoyed it as much as I have, let me know below. Herman, man, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to hang
Always,
out
man.
with you. Little fist pound there, man. We'll be in touch. I guess I'll see you at the next event. So till next time, we got more coming.
Hey, JB, I want
What's
to
up?
tell you, we appreciate you too. You do so much for the community, and you've been such a great blessing.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you,
No
man.
problem.
To our audience, man, we'll see you. Take care. Have a good one. Till the next one. Bye now.